recording.
Oh, we're recording.
Great.
We're live.
I got you. I got you. I got you. We live. We live. All right.
Perfect.
Welcome back, guys, to today's episode of The Compass. And today we got a special guest with us. We got Elvis. He's from Sweden. He's a physical therapist, but I think without further ado, I think Elvis can introduce himself and talk a little about his training approach.
Yeah, so as Aleko said, I'm a physical therapist, and the reason I got into physical therapy was because I love training, really interested in everything that was about training. But I actually didn't start training until a few friends in high school pushed me into a gym, and it was, the classic into the basement, just free weights, no cardio. We had one cardio machine like in the corner.
All right.
Dusty as fuck.
OG.
Just a big platform.
Yeah.
Racks, benches, or the OG gyms, and a lot of old dudes who were strong as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's where I got started with the training. So I started doing like weightlifting, and powerlifting from the get-go. And I started doing that because my friends pushed me, but I was also playing American football.
Oh.
So I wanted to get like stronger and fast for that.
Yeah.
So from there, like my training philosophy really evolved because I wanted to do everything, get bigger, get stronger, get faster. So I did the kind of hybrid training from the beginning. Like I was sprinting, I was jumping, I was doing heavy weight, and also dabbling in snatch and clean and jerk, but not doing my work because it was hard. So I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then since then I've just been consistently going to the gym. Like, I might have missed a few weeks here and there, but mostly since I started in high school, I've been going to the gym consistently every year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now my training philosophy feels much more mature. It's still the same thing. I'm training everything, but the volume has gone down, the intensity has gone up, and the specificity has also vanished. Like I'm trying to just have fun, develop everything. Right now I'm doing martial arts, so I'm trying to get fitter for that. So yeah, that's like my whole training philosophy. Train everything.
Hell yeah.
That's about training.
Yeah.
Really.
Sounds great. And how long have you been training, like from start to where you're at today?
Ooh. I would say 7 to 8 years.
Okay, nice.
Consistently training. Yeah, so it's been a while actually.
Okay. And has it mostly been consisting of more strength as you described yourself, but how much variety have you been doing like between?
So because so in the beginning it was a lot of variety, like a lot of bodyweight stuff, for the American football, bodyweight stuff, a lot of just more strength, power-based movements.
Yeah.
And then when I went to university, I switched to a more powerlifting, or it was a powerlifting base because I wanted to compete.
Yeah.
But when I was going to have my first competition, lockdown, so I couldn't compete that year, and then I lost all motivation. So when the start of things were going as usual, I didn't want to compete anymore.
Yeah.
But so I was excited because I really got my numbers up for the competitions. But hey, that's how it is.
Yeah, but Lucas.
You mentioned you had played American football. Did you ever get injured?
Yeah, I did. But there was one match that we were playing, and the ball is somewhere, and I was gonna go tackle tackle somebody, and some guy just like came and dived right into my knee, like he
shit,
right into the knee. So it's just like a full stop.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I didn't tear anything, but
Yeah.
uh, but something bruised, something
Mm.
bruised real hard. So I couldn't play for a few weeks, and then ever since, if my training volume gets too high, or if I don't recover properly enough, my knee starts hurting. But I've still been strong. I mean,
Mm.
I've gone up to a 240 back squat without any
Oh, that's
pain or
impressive.
discomfort. So I mean,
Yeah.
so it feels
That's real
strong.
nice.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
that's perfect tangent to my next question, which would be, how does being strong as fuck affect your like maximum recoverable volume?
Yeah, so being strong as fuck is a double-edged sword. Because when you are strong, then that means you have to lift heavy weights to get more progress. You have to be a
Mm,
high in intensity. And but being stronger means that stuff doesn't feel as hard.
mm,
So it is that double-edged sword. But now that I've changed my training volume to be much more lower. Now it's all good because I used to like train really high intensity, really high volume, really high frequency,
Mm.
mm,
and yeah, that fucked me up.
Yeah.
So when I changed, and the only change I've done now is I'm still doing pretty high frequency, but I'm and pretty high load, but I'm doing much lower volumes,
Yeah.
and I'm still progressing, and I feel better. So being strong as fuck for me is just a big win.
Yeah.
nice. Now you say your overall volume has gone down. How about your proximity to failure? Or do you use RPE in your training or RIR?
So I use reps in reserve for the strength based move, but then RPE for the power and endurance based
Mm,
stuff that I do. But my proximity failure is now very close. So I'm either one rep from failure or failure
Mm.
on almost all my lifts every day.
Yeah. And when you talked about like intensity before, if you would choose between like frequency, volume, and intensity, which one do you think has been the most important one for you?
The most important one will
Yeah.
be intensity,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, because for my personal training, I've always done high volume and high frequency. Like I love training, so like I want to be in the gym. I want to go. I want to play my sport. So I'm always active. But I've always been quite reserved.
Mm.
Like going too hard so that I can recover well and then go harder next time.
Yeah.
mm,
I'll go harder next day. But from my experience, all that does is that it makes me less resilient human because since I'm not going hard, I'm not actually getting enough stimuli to elicit an adaptation.
Mm.
mm.
I'm not getting better because I'm not I'm not really forcing my body to get better. So
Yeah.
increasing my intensity, of course, along with lowering the volume, has been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Uh, e- Even though you've lowered your volume now, do you still implement periods of deload where you either lower your reps in reserve or like get them higher? I mean, or do you take like a week off, or do you just cut the volume in half? What do you do in terms of deloads?
I don't actually deload, like I don't plan deloads,
Mm,
but if I have a weekend where I'm somewhere where I have a gym, then I don't train that weekend. But I try to get in all my sessions actually. And for example, for 2 weeks ago, me and my friends were in Stockholm for from Friday to Saturday, and from Friday to Sunday. And usually I train Friday and Saturday, but I skipped the Friday and then did the Saturday anyway. So from what I see it, life happens a lot. So I'm not really planning in sessions of deloads because I know that deloads will happen naturally.
Yeah. And as you may know, because you and I, Elvis, has been talking lately about like our current approach of training, because we are quite similar built, both quite large lifters. And how would you say it has like been different for you when you trying to be more mobile and training more for that type of approach in training?
Yeah, that has been pretty hard because the strength is very easy for me. The power is a little bit harder, but what I'm struggling with is the mobility and then just my gas tank. Like I gas out way too fast.
Mm.
So that is what I should be focusing more on. So I am focusing a lot on my conditioning, but I'm not doing as much as I would like to on the mobility because I don't think it's fun. So I don't really plan it.
Yeah.
And as a lesson in maybe you shouldn't be your own coach, like because you won't do stuff that you don't think is fun, even if you know that it's necessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, being a large athlete, it is hard to display all the strength and power that I have for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Because usually I can last for a minute or two, but then I'm just dead weight. So
Yeah.
that is something I'm really trying to increase my gas tank.
Yeah, and it's really difficult as you described, especially with things like explosive power, for example, when
Yeah,
it comes to being bigger built, because I've been struggling with that as well, like the same thing, and just like doing explosive jumps and hops and more producing power in a different way is
yeah,
quite demanding when you're weighing 3 digits in kilograms.
exactly. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
like you have to be more careful with the volume since
yeah,
like I really want to increase the amount of like jumps and sprints I have in my program, but my knees and my hamstrings can't handle that increase. So I have to be more careful with how much I increase it over time.
yeah,
So yeah, it is hard.
yeah. And you also talked about like doing the boring work, as you say, like doing
Yeah,
mobility and things like that, because that, as you said, it's not fun. And I've talked about this as well. Like you have to do the boring stuff, the more detailed work, like training the minor muscle groups as well, especially for explosivity. But do you think there's something else that's like being ignored or forgotten when it comes to training, like besides mobility?
what besides mobility, what I think is like the opposite of training, rest. Like people don't rest, and I find it very strange. Like I see on Instagram that all the time, like rest days where people have like runs and do like tons of mobility, like hard mobility training.
Yeah,
And for me, that's not a rest day. Like you have to actually give your body rest.
yeah,
And like I'm training some athlete who have had other coaches before, where I saying like they should do like 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats every day.
yeah.
I'm like, what is that gonna achieve? I
Yeah,
mean, like,
it's only gonna fatigue you way faster.
yeah.
Yeah,
So rest is something that I feel like okay, but it is two different type of people, you know. The people that I'm most useful are athletes who want to like win competitions, and for them, the hard part is getting them to rest.
mm,
But of course, we have the gen pop that the hard part is actually getting them to the gym and getting them to train
Yep.
hard. So for the gen pop, I would say that something that is ignored is actually training hard.
mm,
It's actually moving weight, close to failure.
yeah,
I think so. It's two different populations.
yeah.
What one thing I could see actually for more of a general population audience is that doing some sort of physical activity every day could be good for like your mentality and like
Yeah.
staying in it.
Mhm.
Because some
Exactly.
people, when they fall off the wagon, they have a real hard time getting back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really had a hard time understanding why people don't train.
Same.
And then, yeah, then I realized, like, okay, I just love training. Like, I've been fortunate enough to love training.
Mm,
But if you are somebody who that really doesn't like it, then you have to start small. Like, start with a daily walk for 10
Mm.
to 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and just keep that going. And like maybe go for a swim twice in a week. Stuff like that, stuff like that.
Mm.
So like you really have to think differently when you're talking to regular people compared to when talking to athletes. That's why like I switched my business model a bit to cater more to people who already love training rather than people who want to start getting training, because like I feel like I can do much more for athletes than I can do for the jump up, in that I don't really have the patience to slowly ease somebody into training.
Yeah.
You know? Uh,
Mm. And I think it's really valuable the way that you speaking about the small changes here. That's truly something I believe in as well, like to absolutely forget about the perfect result and become more
yeah,
process oriented instead of focusing on the outcome and the results.
exactly. Yeah,
Because I do think that's something that's holding a lot of, especially beginners, back, like expecting or chasing one specific goal, because our goals will change infinitely, like until we die, really.
yeah,
So I think it's more valuable to focus on the process and take it day by day. And as you stated as well, like with the minor changes, that we could implement walking, swimming, and do the minor stuff and not chase the big 100% all of the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, People really underestimate how just a small low intensity activity can improve their mood, improve their overall like health, back pain, just
yeah.
your body wants to move, move.
Yeah, and I do think it's the most optimal way of creating motivation as well, because of
Yeah,
course I think we should strive for big things and high have demands, of course, but when we start out with something, we need to start out with it with a small, too easy task even to get us
yeah,
started, and like not focus mainly on the always functional and healthy ways in the beginning at least.
yeah.
Because I don't know
Oh,
how it was for you, but when you got started in the gym, what was it that got you motivated like in the first place?
oh, that was a really long time, so I can't
Yeah.
really say for sure. But what 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 got it started was my friends in class. Like they were the ones who took me to the gym, then gave me programs to follow,
Mm.
and helped me with my. So I was really fortunate there that they were patient with me and got me started. Because after a few weeks, I feel like I actually fell in love with the process myself, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. I feel pretty good. I feel strong. So it was that the feel, not like a real result that got me to continue. But I was feeling myself getting stronger. I was feeling myself getting better. So I was like, I have to continue doing this
Mm.
because this feels good.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. And how would you say, as a physical therapist, now that you have been learning new stuff about training, that you can like draw parallels from to your own training and the things you work with in your job?
yeah. So the biggest thing actually has been to keep things simple because when I was fresh out of school, like we had all these new theories, all this like,
Yeah.
oh, if somebody comes with this pain, then these muscles that are affecting them, so you have to do these exercises,
Yeah.
so that to get a specific outcome.
Mm.
But the more I actually worked in practice, like 90% of people we came with shoulder issues. They were either people were doing too much or people were doing too little.
Yeah.
Or doing too much, like just it didn't even matter what kind of pain they had. They could have been having pain in the front shoulders, in the back of the shoulders, in the neck. Push-ups and band rows fixed everything. Like
Yeah.
just wall push-ups and band rows that fixed them. And then when people were doing too much, it was just about getting them to realize they were doing too much. First of all, getting them to actually lower intensity of what they're doing, because it was like people were working in construction and lifting heavy things all day. Like, okay, you have to chill a bit,
Yeah.
that, and then strengthen these muscles, and then go back to work. And that also helped. And then, of course, the 10% were very complex cases where there's a lot going on, so that you actually needed to do a more specific rehab plan.
Yeah.
So in that phase of working, and then in that phase of my training, I was overthinking my own training.
Mm.
And I realized, like, but it doesn't really, like, it doesn't matter if this exercise bias these regions of these muscles more than that exercise, so that I have to keep that. So it was too much. I was thinking way too much about it. So now I'm
Yeah.
just keeping it simple
Yeah.
again, and focusing on like stuff that actually matters, and
Yeah.
which is intensity, and then good movements,
Yeah.
and going hard on those good movements. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the biggest thing is just keep it simple.
Yeah. And
As simple.
yeah, and that's absolutely something you have to like realize sooner than later.
Yeah,
Because
really.
I've been struggling with that one. I've always loved variety in everything.
Yeah.
Like I really had a hard time to do the simple things, always trying to find new exercises like anything, and that was good too.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy it, I don't see any problem with that.
No,
But you don't really. But the thing is, if you think that you have to change all the time, or you
no,
have to
no,
do something, you don't. You
no.
can either keep the same exercise or keep changing. I mean,
Yeah, and
that's like,
yeah, and you gotta do what works for you. And
yeah,
for me, it worked and still is working good because it keeps me motivated in a way. Because when I
yeah,
change things up all of the time, it's like I get excited to go to the gym because I know I can try new stuff all the day. So it's like it becomes natural to me to go to the gym. But that's not for everyone either. Like you just need
exactly.
to find your flow and find what works for you.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of exercises that train the same muscle. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like if you're doing a regular bench press or dumbbell bench press or machine press or split machine bench press, I mean, they all train the same muscles,
mm,
and some train it a bit better than the others. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, if you are enjoying your program, you will put in effort. So, and that's what matters.
yeah, exactly. And as me and Lukas, who are occupational therapists, we focus a lot on like doing what's meaningful. And this is
Yeah,
exactly it, like watching out what truly matters, as you said before as well, not copying other styles or doing stuff just because your common gym bro does it or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Just don't be afraid to experiment and explore your horizons. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you hit on something that I really have been thinking about a lot, like experimenting.
yeah,
Like a lot of people don't experiment anymore
no,
with their training, and like in life in general. Like just like try something out, see how it goes.
yeah,
If it goes well, keep it in your life. If it doesn't go well, try something else. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole process of just like trying stuff out. And I feel like people don't do that anymore. Like they want to know exactly the optimal plan.
No.
And like,
No.
We're turning this very philosophically here.
Yeah.
It's the death of the individual now that everybody is
yeah,
conforming to like the general because of like
yeah,
social media, and like there's more pressure to be a certain way
Mm.
than before. When I like look at old videos like from the 70s or the 80s or the 60s, everybody is like more unique
Yeah.
than they are
yeah.
today.
Mm.
So I think there's a lot more pressure today to like become more of a normie, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's
Yeah.
about forgetting about trying to be normal, because trying to be normal is really putting up that mask and faking it, like people pleasing habits, for example. And we're becoming more of it, sadly, and less independent
Yeah.
as well due to social media and the phone in general. And which you said earlier that we're afraid to explore and experiment nowadays, and that is absolutely correct, because we're maybe worrying about other people, what they will think if I try out a searcher lunge, which maybe will look weird to some people.
Yeah.
Insanely good exercise though, but but
Yeah, exactly. It's very good exercise.
a lot of people won't even think of trying it because it may look weird, or people will give you looks or something, and
Yeah,
that's limiting you a lot, I think.
exactly. But I feel like when you are the person that actually does the weird stuff, other people who also wanted to do that
Yeah,
get more courage to do it.
yeah,
Like just this other day in the gym, I was doing my cable hip flex races,
yeah,
and that's an exercise that you don't really see that much in the common gym. And then this guy came and was like, "Hey, I also allow that exercise. I don't see anybody else do it, but I love it. Like it fixed my back." I was like, "Yeah, it's a good
yeah,
exercise."
yeah.
So I think like it's good. Like of course, don't get too weird, but I
No,
mean, but
Kyriakos Grizzly.
Kyrgios Grizzly. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
but like, even though look at him, like he's been himself and he's like an inspiration to a lot of people.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, so as long as you're like following what you like to do and you're not hurting anybody or you're not like insulting anybody, just try it out and see how it feels. Really.
Mm, yeah. And when you talk about that, I remind myself of a topic I spoke with a friend about, like ego lifting. Like, how far would it be okay to do like ego lifting? Because I think in the beginning, we all, most of us anyways, will ego lift at some point. And I
Yeah.
think it motivates a lot of people, to be fair, because then you will
Yeah.
go into the gym, fuck around with the boys, and like just have fun, instead of going to the I have to be functional at the start. Like that ain't
So,
as fun. But
yeah,
it's what got
But my
me.
stretch position, I need to load the stretch position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
yeah.
what got me like really passionate and yeah interested in the gym when I started out, and I think it's the same for a lot of people. But what do you think about this like approach on ego lifting and how far it's okay?
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the ego lifting. I mean, at the end of the day, me, what matters are people are in the gym training. Like that's all I care about. And if they are just doing some dumb shit and lifting heavy weights around, as long as they're not getting hurt, I'm okay with that. And
Hmm.
the thing is that people think that the human body is so fragile because it's normal for people to be weak and frail. If you understand what I
Mm.
mean.
Yeah.
But if you actually train, if you actually challenge your body, you notice like, okay, I'm not that weak, I'm not that frail. Like I can get strong. I can adapt to a lot of weird positions because like I don't know if you guys remember this like side bends, like heavy side bends with dumbbells was like, oh, don't do that, it will wreck your spine.
I did them today.
But, yeah, it's funny, like, but like they are an amazing exercise to strengthen the spine. I mean, and the muscle around the spine.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with ego lifting as long as people, yeah, as long as people don't go too far. But that's hard to say. It's too far.
Yeah.
But the human body is resilient. It is adaptable as long as you actually train it and treat it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's really hard for some people to really understand how strong the human body is. But of
Yeah.
course, there is a limit to everything. Like, you can see and you can identify some like really dangerous forms if you're really new to the gym. But as you know, when you're new, you don't have a clue what you're doing. And then you will come across like weird positions and like weird exercises which you can't like master from the get-go.
And also, I believe that like a beginner is the right person to do all those weird stuff and get in those weird positions because they're not really strong enough to actually do like harm. You know, like if I squat like if I'm max squatting and I miss groove, I can actually hurt myself.
Yep.
Because I'm lifting that much weight. But a beginner, like lifting the bar like 60 kilograms, like even if they get in a weird position, they will not likely hurt themselves because they're just not strong enough to hurt themselves. Yeah. So I am okay with beginners ego lifting, but of course, it has its place. It has its purpose, but you get better results with good form. So it's better to like.
I do think it's quite okay as well. Of course, I wouldn't like always promote it, but I don't think it's that taboo or demonized as a lot of people say either.
Yeah.
Because, as I said before, it's what gets most of us started in the beginning. But later on, it will automatically come that we reach a point where we want development. There we get to the stage like, hey, I need to work on my mobility or step up my program to work on the more advanced approaches, because the more experience you get, the more you will actually need to focus on the small stuff. In the beginning, you can do a lot of like non-optimal training and still get a lot of gains. Like you will most likely get that. So I don't think it's that important in the beginning, because in the beginning you just have to get motivated, go to the gym, do the work, and do whatever it takes. Like just to get out of the apartment is like hard for some people, and that is a win. So you don't have to like go all insane from day one. Like now I'm a be world champion.
All right.
So I think it's I do think a lot of people puts way too high standards and expectations from the start. At least you can of course adjust them and raise them the further you go, but from the start it shouldn't be that high.
It really shouldn't.
I
mean, just to ask a question, how are you guys training right now?
You want to go first, Lukas?
Yeah, I can go first. I'm doing sort of like a upper lower split, I guess, where I try to get in like 4 times a week, and I do it on my lower days. I do one of the lower days with like a heavy hinge, and the other one with like a heavy squat pattern. And there is variation in that too. I'm not like locked in. I actually do more what I feel like doing. Could be an RDL, could be a regular deadlift, could be a snatch grip deadlift. And
Hell
on
yeah.
my squat pattern day, I actually do like the leg press, but I do enjoy the free weight squats as well.
Mm.
And same goes for my upper body days. I try to get in like a heavy pressing movement, and well, actually, I on my upper body days I do get like both a heavy pull and a heavy push, but one day I do more of like a horizontal push pull, and the other day I do more of a vertical push pull. And of course, I do arms
Hell yeah.
those days as well. And in between those days, I might go in just to hit arms and shoulders as well. If I like, if I just want to get in there, I go in to just hit arms and shoulders. Just get a sick pump, really skin bursting.
It's really important.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, I got a really, really nasty pump today. Yeah.
Nice.
Sleeve ripping.
Sleeve repeat. All right.
And I had a little bit of a layoff during the summer. Had like a lot of stuff, a lot of traveling, and I was sick a few weeks as well. So I did fall off the wagon. I can say that with all honesty. So I've just been using straight up linear progression on my lifts, and I haven't had to make it complicated yet. I'm still like making good games as it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you?
How about me? I'ma tell you. Nah, but just like you, Lucas, I've been like on and off on like various splits this year, really. But due to a lot of, I think after the summer I got sick quite frequently, so there was a like period when I didn't have a certain speed, just want to get back to the gym and get some movement. But I think from the start of the year I did a more power building approach. I've always done like full body splits 3 days a week. Not always, but the latest 5 years at least. I do think those works best for me, especially now when you got a lot more going on with personal life and work and things like that. Time will be crucial. It will be a quite important factor when you program your routines. So lately I've even done just 2 workouts a week. I strive for 3, but not always the time for it because life happens and you got a lot of stuff. But right now I'm actually, as you may know, Elvis, as well, that I'm writing a brand new program that will be focusing on a lot of things that you have talked about a lot about, like functionality and explosiveness and things like that you actually lack, that I lack as well, because I never done that at all. I started my lifting career with like a few years of immature bodybuilding when we started with the Southwest project, if you will, and then I stumbled upon powerlifting, and then I did powerlifting until like this year, really. So right now I dropped the like I have to lift heavy weights and be strong and all that powerlifting approaches. So now I'm just focus on a lot more, for function, and as I said, explosive and power will be at focus. But still a type of full body approach, but I will be mixing things up. But as for today's workout, for example, I did some deficit plyo push-ups, and I tried a Searcher good morning, actually. Felt really great. Things like that, I just get random, I have to try this. And that was and I do love that, because I found some great exercises doing that. And it doesn't work for everyone. For example, the Searcher good morning. I think that...
Did you max out?
No, because I didn't sleep that much last night, so I took it easy today with the intensity, just trying things out.
Oh, shame. Max search a good morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
soon though. But I do think that that one could be a good implement for anyone really that is struggling with the good morning, because I do think the bar positioning in the normal good morning is quite tricky for a lot of people, like
Yeah.
figuring it out. So I think
Yeah, I really hate the good morning with the normal bar because it doesn't like it always slide up on my neck.
yeah,
So yeah, so I
uh,
would have to try the circuit.
yeah, and I do think it's way easier to focus on what it's supposed to focus on, just like the hamstrings and
Yeah.
the lower back. But you get the also front lever, the weight in front of you, which will be making you like use your bracing and core to your max, like. And that's why I love searchers in general, because it's a really good way to max out your core capacities as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
yeah,
Sounds solid.
yeah. But I think we will be wrapping this episode up. But before we leave, I got a last special question for you, Elvis.
Yeah.
If you could choose one exercise each that is overrated in your opinion and underrated in your opinion, which two would you
Oh,
choose? And it could
okay.
be for functionality, strength, hypertrophy, you name it, like in general.
Okay, so overrated. Oh, so let's go very hot take or but I'll say the barbell bent over row is overrated.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like there are much better back exercises than that.
Yeah.
It lacks, and then it's a bastardized version of a row and then an RDL.
Mm.
Okay, if you want to rip heavy weights with the barbell, regular pendlay row is better, in
Yeah.
my opinion. And if you want to focus on the back, chest supported row is much better.
Mm.
So bent over barbell row, overrated.
Mm.
And underrated exercise. Oh, I'll say sprinting.
Mm.
Just
Oh,
general sprinting.
Yeah.
Max effort sprints are underrated.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I'm starting to realize it as well, but I do agree with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's my answer.
Hmm.
Aleko, when did you last sprint?
Today, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
But before that, I can remember. Nah, but I do prefer more like long distance runs. But I will be implementing more like explosive sprints right now in my program.
Yeah,
But I actually thought about like applying to do a half marathon next year.
Oh my lord.
nice.
I'm in.
Nice.
Because I always wanted to do that like either a half marathon or a marathon, but I will be starting out with that because just to try my limits and prove myself just for the mental sake as well.
Yeah, sounds good. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, no, that was basic. Because like, I don't really like long endurance stuff, but I feel like just doing a half marathon should like it's a good goal to
Yeah.
reach for actually.
Mm. Yeah. Hell yeah. Hmm.
So thank you for this podcast, guys.
Yeah.
It was great
It
having
was
you.
really fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great.
But
Maybe you're a new co-host over here.
maybe, maybe.
We definitely want to have you on again, or if you want to have us on your platform, we'll be
Yeah,
glad to come on. And if we go to Sweden, maybe we'll do a in-person meetup and do some lifting. That would be
oh
sweet.
hell
yeah.
yeah.
That will be sweet. That will be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, and then if I'm ever in Finland for any reason, and I hope that we meet up.
Of course,
Of
you
course.
have to
Yeah.
tell us if you come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, we will wrap things up for today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and listening. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Signing off.
Signing off.